better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me, and he gets caught real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. Lots of blood and gold, always wanting more, freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel the force of party. And if you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you let scars rip, you be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infected.
Social Security has nothing to do with the deficit. Social Security is totally funded by the payroll tax levied on employer and employee.
We'll be terminating the payroll tax.
Permanent cuts to the payroll tax.
Billions upon billions of dollars slashed from both Medicaid and Social Security.
This would be a fantastic time to have the payroll tax cut.
Social Security is totally funded by the payroll tax.
We're cutting the payroll tax. So the payroll tax cut to me is very important.
What's up, everybody? Back to another show. Welcome back. And yeah, I wish I had some good news for you. Or no, it's so bad.
Yeah, there's nothing
bad. Oh,
well, there's signs of good, but I don't know if we're going to win. But we're going to keep fighting.
Please get off this ride.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like it should be 3 years into Donald Trump's second term. It's only been, what, 3 weeks now? Not even a month.
And he's got people booing our national anthem. Good job.
Yeah, he has united the entire world against us. Apparently now, he is having phone calls with Putin discussing Ukraine without Ukraine's involvement in the discussion. And we have videos that we're going to show later in the show where it's like his prices thing. Like, they're just too high. They're high already. It's so hard to bring them down after they're already up. Basically the same thing he's saying now is, well, Russia's already there. I mean, it'd be hard for them to leave. It's like,
and it gets worse. Like, some of the things he's saying show a fundamental non-understanding on his part on anything to going on with that war. Well, invasion, we should call it. And two, the complete and utter submission of Donald Trump and the United States to Russia. He's literally saying it. It's just that he's too dumb to say it directly, but the things he's saying let you know what his plans are, and they don't include a Ukraine that is sovereign. It does not.
No, it doesn't even include a free Western Europe.
It doesn't include a free United States.
Well,
but hey, whatever.
Yeah, this is about, like you said before the show, the axis is reforming. The axis of evil is now, unfortunately, Russia. Probably China and the United States, maybe North Korea. Who knows? But that's who we're going to be supporting from now on, apparently.
The axis of stupid.
We are part of the axis of, we're the leaders of the axis of stupid.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about Elon Musk. Of course, co-president Musk's son was nice enough to tell Donald Trump, you're not the president. You need to go away. And I want you to shut your effing mouth. That was the best one. See, I could read lips. So before I found out there was audio to some of these clips, as soon as I saw that clip, I'm like, did he really just say that? And I watched it again. I'm like, he just told him to shut his effing mouth.
To be fair, I can second that because you texted me or we talked about it. Was like immediate when that video came out. You're like, I read lips. That kid is telling Donald Trump to go.
Yeah, Mike is like, interesting. And the next day to get find audio of it, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I actually can. I have a daughter who's born deaf, so just inadvertently I somehow manage to read lips sometimes. I'm not perfect at it, but we're also going to talk about how Donald Trump is giving more power to Elon Musk.
All the
power. This is not legitimate power.
He's giving executive power. He's giving technically, in some ways, legislative power because Elon Musk is now the sole decision maker on which laws, policies, departments, administration, like all of that is going through Elon Musk. Yep. It's almost like Donald Trump had never planned on governing and just figured he'd go to the Super Bowl, the Daytona 500, maybe golf all the time, and he would let, President Musk run the country because that's what's happening.
He's also planning on paving the Rose Garden to make it look like more like Mar-a-Lago. Like, we live in the dumbest timeline in human history, and thanks to a lot of stupid people in this country, this is what we have to deal with. And I'm not going to pull back on that statement because it's ridiculous. So other things in the news: Republicans want to cut $880 billion from Medicaid budget, or is it Medicare? One of the two. I can't remember at this point because they want to do so many cuts. They say over 10 years, but it just happens to be the budget for Medicaid. 880, exactly that amount.
Yeah, weird.
They want to cut $900 million from the Department of Education. And the State Department has given Tesla a wonderful $400 million contract for armored vehicles.
Apparently, they backtracked, but it did happen. So while Donald Trump is allowing President Musk to just ravage this country under the guise of a department that doesn't exist, by the way, has no authority to do any of these things. The president is just letting him. These were payment for services rendered. Donald Trump was going to allow the United States State Department to give a $400 million order to buy Tesla Swatsta cars. I mean, Cybertrucks. But since we still have the ability to have some information from what's going on in this hellhole of a government leaking out to the people, the backlash kind of made them go, uh-oh. So the U.S. State Department pauses a plan to spend $400 million on armored Teslas. A federal document listed planning purchase for 2025 removed Tesla's name on a proposed contract before sidelining the deal altogether. The Tesla name has been scrubbed from a U.S. State Department procurement document showing planned purchases for 2025. The original document awarded Elon Musk's company a $400 million contract for unspecified armored vehicles. So in other words, just give us something. Here's money. Following media reports of a conflict of interest, which is hardly the only one, the State Department announced it has suspended plans to purchase armored Teslas.
Right. They changed it back to the proper verbiage.
So, because the way it's supposed to work is instead of the government giving every contract to one person, they're supposed to have, wait a minute, the core tenet of capitalism is companies are supposed to compete for the right to get business.
Right. See, I got an argument with a troll on Twitter about this. He's like, this was under Biden. Biden's the one that can't. Biden wanted to give all American car companies the opportunity to build electric armored vehicles.
That's a difference. Okay? That's a very different thing.
Right. Not just Tesla. And here, I know exactly why they're doing it. I know why they're doing it.
Unspecified design, by the way.
Right.
Free money.
Right. So here's why Elon Musk and the government are doing this. Okay, Tesla sales numbers are down worldwide because
there's basically short of a boycott.
Right. Everybody's getting rid of their vehicles. I've seen stories of people losing like 75% of the value of the vehicle in a year. Yep. That is ridiculous. Your Honda usually carries about like 55% over 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So they can't give them away. So people owe more money than they're worth. People are literally parking them and walking away from the loan, the vehicle, the whole thing.
Cars too.
Right.
Like,
and
don't
they're
forget,
garbage. They don't go in the snow. They don't off-road. They
don't
can't
haul
tow shit.
anything. You can't fit anything. And wait, the latest safety reports. I should have made a panel for this. This is not our opinion. This is fact. The amount, number, and frequency and the severity of the explosions, meltdowns, fires, breakdowns, crashes from the Cybertruck alone makes it more dangerous than the Ford Pinto. And if you know anything about car history, I don't love cars, but I know a little bit because the Ford Pinto was a car in the 70s that was forced off the market because it was so dangerous. The gas tank was just exploding when people tapped it. Okay, the Cybertruck is statistically more dangerous than the Ford Pinto, and Donald Trump was just going to give $400 million for an unspecified design for our military trucks.
Yes, and they're garbage. Like they're absolutely pieces of shit.
But that's not it. That's not it. Like when I said earlier that there's far more conflict of interests, like it's way worse than you think. Again, this is not opinion, this is fact. Reporting originally from Robert Reich and Brian Tyler Cohen passed this along. When Trump was sworn in, Elon Musk's corporations were under more than 32 investigations conducted by at least 11 federal agencies. Most of the cases are now closed or likely to be closed soon, and the federal agencies are being defanged by Dodge. Funny how that works.
Right. And this will, of course, boost if he does get this contract, which he will. He's regardless. I mean, they changed the wording now to electric armored vehicles, but they'll get it. He's just doing it to boost the stock prices because Tesla's failing. Tesla's failing. Twitter's failing. I mean, SpaceX is basically a giant welfare case. I mean, the government funding that goes into is pretty much what keeps SpaceX going. And so, like, yeah. But yeah, this is what happens when you're willing to sell out your country just to, not suffer the consequences of your actions. He did exactly. We were right though. Like, he ran just to stay out of jail, regardless of what the right wing says, because Elon Musk has taken over. And now, I might as well show you this. Donald Trump this is one of his executive orders. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch screens here. Implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency Workforce Optimization Initiative.
Wait a minute. The President's Department of Government Efficiency, is that because they can't legally call it the Department of Government Efficiency because it's not a department, it doesn't exist?
No,
okay,
it's fake.
Sorry, had to say it again.
Right. By authority vested to be as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States,
What?
which is a complete false statement because you're breaking. This is completely illegal.
Yes.
We'll just say what the purpose is. The purpose of this is to restore accountability to the American public. Okay. This order commences a critical transformation of the federal bureaucracy by eliminating waste, bloat, and insularity. My administration will empower American families, workers, taxpayers, and our system of government itself. Like, this is such bullshit. Talking about bureaucracy is, to me, hilarious when you have a unelected bureaucrat running the show. And I actually have a video of Elon Musk talking about
rambling about.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick before we get into anything else. His recent visit to the White House, his press conference in his Oval Office, while he allowed his Vice President Trump to sit in
cower
the chair,
in the corner,
right, because he's old and can't stand for a very long time. God, he just gets completely owned by little demon spawn X, the human shield. The kid you never saw before Luigi Mangioni's incident happened. Never saw this kid ever. Now he's carrying him like a bulletproof vest for his head, on his shoulders everywhere. And, like, seriously, when the fuck did the White House become bring your child to work day, especially when you're doing a meeting in the freaking Oval Office?
It's funny.
Man.
I saw someone post a really good picture because MAGA is good at finding photos and not understanding context. And one of them was a very famous picture of JFK with his son crawling under the Resolute desk. And their answer is, well, look, JFK did it. Okay, JFK's son did it when JFK was the president. What's different now is that an unelected billionaire is just running our country, and his booger picking kid is running around telling Trump to pound salt. There's a big difference.
I wish I had that picture pulled up, man. That kid was digging for straight gold, man. Hold up, I'm gonna see if I can find that out. Forget it. You can look it up, but there's a good picture with him, like, with his finger halfway up his brain. And then he wipes it on Donald Trump's desk after insulting Donald Trump. It's literally, I hate the kid, but at that moment, I almost felt bad for Donald Trump.
That was the booger for all American people.
Right. But you just got emasculated. The alpha of alpha males just got humiliated and emasculated by a 4-year-old spoiled little Nazi brat. Sorry, I shouldn't say that about a kid. But yeah. And then the gold chain. The gold chain, can we please, like, if you haven't seen the picture, he's just got this huge, for a kid, 4 years old, got this huge gold chain on the outside of his. We live in the worst time in human history.
Yeah, we
man.
do.
I swear we do. All right, so let me play this video. But this is Elon talking about bureaucracy as an unelected bureaucrat. So let's try and make sense of all this.
The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign.
They voted to get rid of brown
The president
people.
spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, that people that don't get what they voted for, But in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
You know what?
Yeah,
That's
a different
100% accurate.
Yeah.
Americans are going to get what they voted for, and it's going to go not the way they thought it would.
But nobody voted for Elon. Nobody. Not a single human being on Earth voted for Elon Musk to be president of the United States, amazingly enough. He got 0 votes.
It would be bad enough for Elon to be an unelected bureaucrat destroying our country. If he wasn't destroying our country and fixing it, it would still be illegal. It would still be something that neither of us would back because it is not according to our Constitution, which is how we run this country. But the level of incompetence is fascinating. This is my favorite. So they recently dismissed several hundred workers that were tied to nuclear programs. Okay. They are now trying to find where they are and, quote, unfire them because they finally realized after they fired them that they are in charge of maintaining our nuclear weapons.
Look, this made me realize exactly how incompetent this administration is. They did not know what these people did for work. They did not, before they fired them, they did not know or look into what their job requirement, what their job was. That's what blows me away. They're like, oh shit, we gotta get these people back.
You're making a great point because the Elon Musk, Donald Trump mutilation of our government mirrors the ignorance that the Republican Party wanted in its voter base. What I mean by that is the average person, MAGA, non-MAGA, doesn't know what most jobs are in the government. That doesn't mean they're not important. Just because you don't understand something and then don't do the research to understand what it is, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I don't get it. It's bad. That's not how this works. I mean, and it's not even just them cutting stuff. This is how dumb they are. Okay. Doge launches a website that immediately was defaced by hackers due to poor security. Now, number one, Doge shouldn't get a government website because, I'm going to say it again, it's not an official government agency. But this is what the hackers put on there. Meet the U.S. government. Trace your tax dollars through the bureaucracy. U.S. government, executive branch, small independent agencies. These experts left their database open. Yes, folks, all that secure information that Doge is stealing with their server plugged into our treasury, they are now putting on a website that has a database that wasn't even password protected.
Yes, so I feel so safe. I'm sure nothing possibly bad will come of this. Jesus Christ. The incompetence of these tech experts are killing me, man. I could do a better job.
Well,
I could do a better job than this.
What's interesting is that slowly but surely, or maybe quickly, depending on how you look at it, MAGA is starting to find out.
You're finding
and
out the hard
here's
way.
one way you know, because MAGA didn't become MAGA by listening to Donald Trump and going, that guy's policies make sense. MAGA became MAGA because people like Alex Jones, people like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk, all these people propagandize everything for a common goal to fit their benefit. So when you have people that were the ones that rallied the MAGA base for Donald Trump and they're starting to openly question things, don't forget, these mouthpieces are going to be rich no matter what, because they will continue to find a base of which to spew their bullshit and get advertising revenue. Yeah. They don't support Trump because they love him. They support Trump because they hate everyone else and it would make them rich. But when the propaganda machine flips the script, you better watch out. From Purple Room Politics, Trump pal Steve Bannon flips and warns Trump and Elon Musk. There's a lot of MAGAs on Medicaid, and they can't take a meat axe to it. Trump ally Steve Bannon pleads guilty and as jail time in border wall fraud case. So this is a guy who's a grifter, a thief, and he's like, you know what, guys? We really shouldn't steal the Medicaid from all these MAGA people. No. That's where we're getting.
Right, and as a measles outbreak is happening in Texas, and shocker, they're all from anti-vax families. RFK Jr. is now is in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services. We'll talk about another one of Donald Trump's appointees later that Russia is extremely happy about.
Hey,
So
we already have a
RFK Jr.
tuberculosis outbreak happening. We have bird flu, switching species to cows, dogs, eagles. Like right when RFK Jr. is about to work with Trump to ban vaccines and send everyone on depression medicine to work camps. Yes, he said that. We're about to experience a tsunami of infectious diseases ravaging the United States. And guess what?
Yeah.
No one's going to reach out and help us this time.
No, and all of us crazy people, including myself, that will have their medication, will be running around probably butt naked, like screaming at the top of their lungs because we don't have our damn meds.
But
don't want that, dude. Don't mess with the antidepressants.
Here's the problem.
Please.
We knew that this was the last election that Donald Trump thought and the Christian nationalists ever expected America to have. And MAGA was okay with it until they started to realize that all those things that they hated, the brown people, the this, the that, there was nothing that said except for MAGA. We're going to do this to people except for MAGA. So they're starting to find out. These are just a small sampling of what is turning into thousands of MAGAs going to news outlets and social media to say we regret voting for Donald Trump. I'm from West Virginia, and his recent freeze of federal programs hurt my family and many friends. He has lost my support already. What support? It's too late. Trump lost my support on Inauguration Day when he could not move the country forward by providing optimism, positivity, and hopefulness to the United States. When the hell did he ever provide that? Whatever. Trump presented as a threat right away, and I know voting for him was a big, big mistake. Here's another one. We voted for border security. We didn't vote for my husband to lose his government career and benefits for which he has worked so hard.
You did.
Yeah, you did. I have watched as he busted his ass every single day for his job. Our story is like many others, yet they, the Trump administration, see them as a budget line item. We are not a fucking line item. Yes, you are. You voted to be considered nothing but a commodity. You wanted the right brown people here, the wrong brown people there, the white people here, the poor people here, and you thought that Donald Trump was going to hand out money to every one of you. You really thought that, because you don't understand this is rich versus poor. This is not brown versus white. This is they have the money and they want more money and they're not going to give us any of it. That's what this is. They
took $80 million in FEMA funds out of the New York State bank account.
They just stole it.
Just took it.
That's it.
Like if they could get into their bank account and just take money, well, Mayor Adams was involved, so I'm sure that's part of how
Governor Hochul is considering removing Mayor Adams, by the way, because why? Oh, the investigations by the Department of Justice into his fraud were just dropped because Mayor Adams said, not totally dropped, but Mayor Adams agreed to not allow New York to be a quote sanctuary city, so they were dropping some of the charges.
They put him on a leash, is what they did.
But if you want to see, there's two ways you need to see what's happening. Again, down ballot votes are happening even in special elections right now. And in every one of them, Democrats are crushing Republicans. Iowa State Senate, Democrat flipped a Trump plus 21 seat by 4%. Minnesota State Senate, Democrat outperformed by 20 points. Westchester County, New York, executive, Dem outperformed by plus 2. The anti-Trump, anti-Musk backlash is rising. And all you need to know is follow the money. Because when it comes down to it, this was a racist push by a racist to appeal to racists. And with all the bans on DEI going on, Costco, who has refused to participate in a ban on DEI initiatives, their stock is going up because people are choosing to shop there, while Target, which was one of the greatest places known to man, is now dying. There's videos of nobody in Target because why? They went, sure, we'll allow people to be racist in our stores to be racist. Sure.
You know why this is failing is because it wasn't the mandate that they keep telling everybody it was. Okay, you barely won. And they're really trying to just go out. Even Caroline Leavitt, there was one guy who was on TV like, more people watched Trump's inauguration. I mean, he was upset. Inauguration at any time in American history. I was like, bro, breathe. But no, nobody did because we all boycotted it. And that's why they moved it inside, because nobody was buying tickets, because nobody wants to see Trump anymore. We're all getting tired of his stupid ass. All right, so real quick before we move on to talk about Trump a little bit and some of the crazy shit that's going on, I want to play the video. This is Elon, I believe, talking about bureaucracy while his demon spawn tells Trump that you're not the real president, you need to go away. And keep in mind, this is the same kid that said, with SpaceX, we could quietly do whatever we want. He repeats stuff that he hears at home. So
Because
at
he's
home,
a toddler.
he's 4. They don't have kids at home. That's why kids curse, because they hear their
That's why
parents
kids say
swear words.
things.
Right?
Remember the show
They just
Kids Say the
repeat.
Darndest Things? They're freaking kids.
Right. They don't have original thoughts at 4 years old. I don't care if the kid is a genius. He's not a genius, too, because he's sitting there digging through his nose while on national television. The kid has no manners.
He's knuckle
just
deep.
Spoiled little. Yeah, I mean, swear to God. I bet you it looked like he was scratching his brain. Like he's up there like, I got an itch right here. Let me play this real quick and then we'll move on a little bit.
So at a high level, if you say what is the goal of Doge and I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, are we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, X, we would have to, if you it's all right. So, I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes.
Musk can't even speak. He's not saying anything.
If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to
He's just using
to the
corporate
government,
jargon.
and
Means
if you
nothing.
have rule of the bureaucrat, or if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy.
Right.
Okay, so words that MAGA don't understand. Bureaucracy is not mutually exclusive to democracy. You can have a democracy, which is an electoral governing system, and a bureaucracy where that system is run by suits. Just like MAGA doesn't understand that you can have socialism and democracy because one's an economic system and one's a governing system. MAGA doesn't understand anything, and Elon Musk is just going to keep using this hand motion and corporate speak to try and convince himself he has a freaking clue what he's doing. Yeah, he doesn't.
I gotta find that video now. But you have more information because the world is pissed, especially Germany.
Well,
and
let's
also
go to Germany.
I think we mentioned before the show. We'll talk about it later when we talk about Ukraine and Russia, because it's just getting messy.
What, the Germany thing or?
No, the whole what was I gonna? I don't even remember. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we know that he's been buddying up to the far-right German political party that is not neo-Nazis, basically. He has written articles for them. But Elon Musk is hacking German politics, and the Berlin Film Festival may pay the price. Extremist issues, not the movies, could once again be the focus at this year's Berlinale, and the billionaire broligarch is fanning the flames. Musk's actions are quite without precedent. What do you mean? It was, many observers noted, like a scene from 1984. The face of Elon Musk, head of the new broligarchy Billionaire Boys Club, backed Donald Trump, projected Big Brother-like on a video screen at a rally for Germany's far-right alternative Für Deutschland party on January 25th. Amid roars of applause, Musk's virtual head called for the AfD, a nationalist anti-immigrant party under surveillance by authorities for suspected illegal extremism, the best hope for Germany. A week after his straight-arm salutes at Trump's inauguration, the gesture, with its echoes of the Nazi era, is punishable as hate speech in Germany. Musk told the crowd at the rally that Germans are too focused on past guilt and need to move beyond that. Thanking him, AfD leader Alice Weidel told the crowd, "Let's make Germany great again."
We all know what that means. And Donald Trump has revealed the period of time now that he wants to take America back to, and that is to like the late 1800s, the Gilded Age.
What people need to understand is that
this is insane.
While they were trying to make you terrified of what they considered the globalists, okay, they were talking about the global movement for acceptance, progress, working together, eliminating old mentalities so that we could build a better future for all countries. What's actually happening is Donald Trump is allowing Vladimir Putin to put together an axis of evil, a series of globalist initiatives to bring fascism to the forefront in every country. That's what's happening. We looked at it last Tuesday or Sunday when we saw where all the trade partners that the U.S. has left are all the dictator states, basically. Okay? And why they're going to go after Canada and Greenland for natural resources because our trading partners now won't trade with us, and the only people left are Nazis. It's actually a thing that's happening. And if you want Are we into the Ukraine stuff yet or not yet? Because it just keeps
Let's
going.
yeah, let's just keep it going, man.
All right,
Um,
because the reason. Well, go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, I was gonna say the other things they want to do with no, yeah, because I think we mentioned it earlier in the show. Apparently, Donald Trump is having behind the scenes
Yeah,
phone calls with Putin. He's planning on having a meeting with Putin in Saudi Arabia, allegedly.
yeah.
And we're going to talk about it more on Tuesday. We're going to talk about two things. One is called technocracy, which we'll get into again. But we're also going to talk about J.D. Vance going to was it Europe or was it Germany?
Yeah, he went to Germany and
Yeah.
basically was like, everyone should have a voice, even neo-Nazis. And
Yeah,
I'm
and
going
he
to
basically shit all over our democracy by saying, "Oh, if just a few, a little bit of money and some tweets
Yep.
can tumble your democracy, then maybe it wasn't that strong to begin with."
Yep.
You know what, buddy? You're gonna see exactly.
So what you need to see is the language Trump. See, here's something that's always been Trump's problem. He is incapable because of his stupidity to follow any plan. So if you saw the video where he was letting everyone know what the plan for Gaza was, when Netanyahu was standing 2 feet away from him and was like, "Ooh, I wish he didn't say that. Don't say that." Well, guess what? He's doing it again.
Mhm.
Okay. Because Pete Hegseth had his first drunken conversation about world politics and what's going on. Trump implies that since Russia, quote, fought for that land in Ukraine and lost a lot of soldiers doing it, that Russia should keep it.
That's insane. Dude.
So Russia invaded a country. So what Trump is saying, if any country invades another country, if they gain 1 inch of land, no matter what, that's their land. So he's saying any country is allowed to invade any other country because the outcome is a legitimate land grab.
Right.
Okay.
That's what he's trying to do.
But guess
with
what?
Canada.
It's bigger than that. Today, President Trump called our enemy, Russia, before calling our ally, Ukraine. Meanwhile, his Secretary of Defense ruled out a future for Ukraine and NATO and a restoration of Ukrainian sovereignty over its own lands. Let's not mince words about what this represents. A surrender to Ukraine's interests and our own, even before negotiations begin. Trump's a great deal maker, all right, for the Kremlin. Now, I'm not the biggest Adam Schiff fan, but Adam Schiff is a Democratic leader. Our politicians, some of them are saying some of the things a little above quiet, but they're saying it, and it's true.
Let me play a couple clips, actually, of Donald Trump's talking about this.
Listen to the things he says.
Yep. And before I do, though, I do want to take this time, because we're halfway through the show, to please ask you, if you got this far, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment for us. It does help us out with the algorithm. Also, share this video with your friends. Also, again, next Sunday, Mike and I will be in New York City together for the first time. Actually, yeah, it's going to be our first stream together at the same time, at the same place, because we've never actually met in real life.
Yep.
And we're going to be going to the protest against fascism in Washington Square Park. Thanks to your donations, I was able to get all kinds of gear. We're going to try and live stream the entire thing. Beforehand, I want to go early. We want to do some street interviews with people that are coming, find out where they're from, why they're doing what, why they're participating.
Other than being prepared for going to a protest, someone who lives in New York, I'm going to tell you 2 things. It's cold as shit, dress appropriately, and it's expensive as shit. I just looked up the train tickets for me and Jeremy. They're about $30 a piece.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay. I really wish I got more than 2 shifts this week, now that you say that.
No, that's fine. Because let's just say I received another donation from someone related to me, and I'm going to use that money to help us pay for the train tickets.
Yeah, so I still have some left for the travel. I mean, if you guys would like to donate, because Mike and I are still trying to build legit studio, like official equipment. Like, we want to do this full time. We can't do it without your help. Like, we've even turned the ads off on our lives because YouTube keeps digging us, and we don't want to be censored anyway. We want to be able to speak our minds. So I've actually turned ad revenue off for all of our shows for now, until we can do more content. Because the lives are tricky. Because if you say the wrong thing accidentally, which I tend to put my foot in my mouth a lot, sometimes, and I swear a lot, so YouTube has a problem with that. So if you would like to donate and help us out, the GoFundMe link is in the description of this video. We greatly appreciate all your donations so far. You're actually one of the reasons we're able to even do this live stream next week. And we're going to have USMC Angry Veteran Matt. We're going to have him back on the show. As long as nothing happens in the foreseeable future, have him back on the show Tuesday to talk about some recent events, what's going to happen with this whole Paris is having an emergency meeting regarding Russia and Putin. We'll be talking about that on Tuesday.
That's not good.
But yeah, we thank you so much for all your support. You guys have been absolutely amazing. This last year and 13, 14 months we've been doing the show has been up and down, man. And we almost gave up a couple times because we've done all this for free. Like, this is not something that we get paid to do. We just do it because we have a passion for it and we feel like we want to participate in, resisting at least fascism. We don't want to go
something. I'm not going down. I'm not going to let the boot come down on me without trying to hold it back.
No, but this is what we're dealing with. We'll move on to our next topic here. We'll talk about everything going on with Russia.
Russia.
Donald Trump actually needed a translator for somebody that was speaking in English. I shit you not. Mike told me this right before the show. I died laughing. But just so you know what we're up against, this is
real.
This is an older clip, though, of Troy Niels. And I literally titled this video, Troy Niels as a Cuck, because this is the mentality of the MAGA politicians. I hope it's not all Republican politicians that think like this, but listen to what he says. It's horrifying. It's stupid. It sounds crazy, but at the same time, they're swearing total allegiance to this dementia-ridden dipshit.
There's no question he's a leader of our party. So now he's got a mission statement, his mission, and his goals and objectives, whatever that is, we need to embrace it. All of it. Every single word. If Donald Trump says jump 3 feet high and scratch your head, we all jump 3 feet high and scratch our heads. That's it.
You don't work for Donald Trump. You work for the people. Also, what kind of twisted individual, adult, human being just says, if Donald Trump says to jump, I'm going to do it? Like, have some self-respect.
Right. So if Donald Trump tells you to shoot Americans and you're
he would do it.
He would do it, apparently. So this is the mentality of these people. And then we got Donald Trump running around talking about he wants to run a third term. We didn't play this clip the last 2 shows, so I definitely want to play it now. But this is horrifying, and they have the power right now to do it if they want to.
The fact that they say I can't run again.
There was no say. You can't.
Then somebody said, I don't think you can. Oh.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, I want to be with you regardless, and it's an honor, and it's something I've enjoyed. I've actually met some very nice Democrats here.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
Yeah, so, they think that because he hasn't run, they're telling him, and he's buying it because he's a moron, that because he didn't run 2 consecutive terms, like 2, 1, 2. Like, you could run for 2, you could serve for 2 terms. How hard is this? But now they're trying to somehow wiggle around that, man. We could be dealing with Trump and Elon Musk for a long time if we don't do something about it. I know, right? He's like super orange, especially at the that recent event with Elon Musk. Elon Musk, it's a very stark contrast because Elon Musk is super pale. He's like one of the whitest white people in the world. And standing next to Donald Trump just makes Donald Trump look extremely orange. They should not be standing next to one another. But one more clip and then we'll get into the funny one. This one I think is funny because Donald Trump is joking that he didn't know China was part of BRICS. BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's what makes up BRICS. And I had even I knew that.
BRICS, the BRICS nations, I think that's breaking up very rapidly. We said that if they're going to go and do anything to undermine the dollar, that includes China. I don't even know that they're a member of BRICS, but they had a few nations get together to try and play cute. And I said, we're going to put 100% tariff on every one of those nations. And
oh my God, it's his answer for everything.
The thought of saying that, I think that's all broken up. That idea has no longer sailed. Now, that would be a terrible thing for our country. It would be bad for the world. They wanted to undermine the dollar.
They're not undermining the dollar. You are personally tanking the dollar. And this is what's going to happen. Donald Trump and his cryptocurrency and all these scams that they're running are going to bankrupt the United States, which is going to value the dollar absolutely nothing. It's going to be worthless around the world.
$10 says they try and issue all of our refunds this year in Bitcoin.
Right.
You
So
got
I think
0.0312 Bitcoin.
And China is trying to leverage themselves as the world's currency because right now it's U.S. dollar, if I'm not mistaken. But China is actually trying to move in and make their currency the world's currency, which would absolutely decimate the United States value, the value of the United States dollar. I mean, it would destroy this country completely.
What this is showing you is how none of the way you actually run a real planet is through swinging your junk around and threatening people, because we've gone past the point where we actually think we should all stand up in lines and shoot each other until there's only few people left on one side and they win. That doesn't work anymore. Okay. Stealing this, going into countries for their resources, being imperialistic. We don't get to do that anymore. The world has, for the most part, intellectually moved on from that. And that's what he wants to go back to, because what do you think? China immediately isn't going to just swallow up Taiwan. Russia's not going to take over all of Ukraine. We're not going to try and attack Europe. Like that's not normal. That isn't okay. That is pre-World War II bullshit.
Right. And you guys were
that's
like,
what they want to go to.
I'm voting for Donald Trump. He never started a war. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. Now he's literally starting World War III by negotiating with
and
Russia.
Negotiating your wife because she wasn't here legally and you didn't know that, and cutting Medicaid to your parents. Like, none of this is helping anyone. While eggs are going up,
gas prices around my area.
Not one of those.
Cents.
He's been in office for a month. He's put out dozens, if not hundreds, of executive orders, and not one of them has helped you. Not a single one has helped you in any way.
And this is just me personally, because I can't tell you guys to do this because it's. I mean, I don't even know if I should be. I'm doing a tax strike.
Here we go.
Tax strike. Why would?
Oh, I was going to say, here's a voice of reason regarding why we don't practice imperialism anymore. Yeah. Because as much as I hate the concept of mutually assured destruction, once everyone got nukes, they realized you can't really just invade anyone anymore.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, right now, think about it. Elon Musk has the access to the Gulf of cheaper groceries. That's funny. But Elon Musk.
Well, you were saying a boycott.
There's even a report that there's most likely a chance that your refunds are going to be delayed. I can almost. I'm calling it now. Nobody's getting their refunds.
No one's getting it. Or they're all going to suddenly, or who knows what they did to the tax system now.
And
we're going to all be like, you owe $50,000.
Right. Because I posted on the internet that I'm doing a tax strike. I am. I'm sorry. I'm not giving the Trump administration one penny. I don't give a shit where the money goes, but it's not going to the U.S. government at this point. And somebody had the nerve to say to me, hey, millions of poor Americans rely on their large tax refunds to live. Your white privilege is showing. And my response was,
you're not going to get those refunds.
I am one of those poor white Americans that relies on their large tax refund to live.
Also, who says you're going to get it?
Right. And but just they accuse me of just using my white privilege to just telling everybody not to. Like, I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but don't come at me like that outside of your neck, because I know what it's like to be a poor American. Okay.
Well, and you want to know what people are doing? Because you started saying it. People are looking for ways to fight back, and one of them is an economic blackout. On February 28th, take part and share the news. If you haven't heard, there will be an economic blackout Friday, February 28th. Sorry, just February 28th. Nationwide. This means don't buy anything unless it's from a small business. No gas, no fast food. Definitely nothing from places like Target, Walmart, or Amazon. Get the word out. We want them to see that we have the power. We will start with 1 day, then 3, then specific companies until our message is heard. Now, I want to point out, that alone will cause economic hardship on people who participate, because it is cheaper to go to a Walmart than it is to go somewhere else, because small businesses have to charge more to compete with the big businesses. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I'd like to amend, don't abandon all big businesses. If they are known supporters like a Costco, show where the money goes, because the small businesses deserve that money, but Costco has power. And if Costco is doing well, they're going to have power to swing around. So we got to support the big businesses that are standing by us.
Right.
That's my only amendment.
Right. And I think I said this in a previous show, is we're going to suffer regardless.
I'd rather it be on our own terms.
Right. Do you want to suffer on our terms or their terms?
Because suffering for them is the point. They want it. Suffering for us is a choice to fight back.
Right. There's a difference, but we're going to suffer regardless, and I would rather suffer
And
knowing
keep
I'm
in
doing
mind,
something about it.
although
at least.
from an economic position, Jeremy and I aren't going to be the target of the suffering as much as other people. Sure, for our
No.
political outspokenness, I'm a staunch atheist. All of these things put us at some risk, but we are not the immediate target. And
Right.
we are going to do whatever it takes to help people that are going to be targeted, that are already being targeted. And if it means we have to buy from one place over another, okay.
Right.
And if we're going to speak out, we're going to keep speaking out.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's everything with these people is transactional. It's all 100%, not even a shadow of a doubt about the money.
They'd all drop each other if there's a better deal. They're not loyal to
Right.
Trump. They're not loyal to Musk. They're loyal to money.
The only reason they are rich is because we consume their products. We eat their bullshit that they feed us voluntarily and then ask for more. So their boycotts are effective. Just look at what's happening in Canada. Nobody originated that boycott, but they are literally boycotting all American products. Everything from liquor to chips. Like, they've even moved all Canadian products to the center, because what grocery stores is what they do is the stuff they want to sell is they put in the middle, eye level. Everything else goes above and below. So all American products are now on the bottom rack, and all Canadian products are at eye level. It used to be reversed. So we're going to suffer because of Trump. We absolutely are, because the demand for American products is going down. We've pissed off all of our allies. We could get attacked right now. Like, what if Russia turns on us? What if Russia turns on us? Because Donald Trump somehow believes that him and Putin are buddies. And it's insane what's happening. All right, so wait, before we move on. All right, let me show this video. This is Donald Trump having a translator, but the person that's speaking is speaking English and with an accent, and apparently he's too stupid to even understand this. This is funny, dude.
Say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw, and it is evident, that how the deep state of United States was involved to regime change during the Biden administration. And then Muhammad Yunus made Junior Soros also. So what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in this case?
Well, there was no role for our deep state. It was. This is something that the Prime Minister has been working on for a long time, and has been worked on for hundreds of years, frankly. I've been reading about it. But I will leave Bangladesh to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, I never in my days thought I would see somebody translating English to English. That is hilarious. That is so embarrassing.
The derp state.
The derp state. That is excellent. That is absolutely
That's
what we
awesome.
have.
I got to write that down. I got to.
Please, we might even have to do a whole episode on the derp state. Thank you so much. We have to use that. I hope that's okay with you.
Don't support the derp state.
No. So, all right, we got a little bit of time left.
All right.
So
well,
let's talk about
we're
Russia.
headed to Russia,
Actually,
right?
Real quick, before I do that, I want to talk about the funding cuts. I'm not going to show the clip of Rashid Tlaib just because it's a little bit longer. We're running out of time. I'll save that for an episode that we do with Liz. But I do want to show this video of Donald Trump being told what to sign because he doesn't know what he's signing. Somebody's explaining to Trump what it is and explaining it to the media at the same time. So they're basically just handing him whatever.
He doesn't know what the hell he's signing. If it's got a sticky note on it that says good stuff people like, he'll sign it.
He could have just signed New York over to China or what. You know what I mean?
And you think I'm kidding about the sticky notes?
No, he literally has Post-it notes on all of them just so he knows, oh, this is a good one. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to sign this. But they want to pull, right now they're saying a COVID vaccine. But now they're saying they're going to pull federal funding for any school in the United States that has a COVID-19 vaccine mandate, which I don't know if any school actually has a mandate for it. But
not for COVID.
This is just the beginning for the
public schools have mandates for basic vaccines, so no one gets polio, measles.
Right. Because my kids had to get a slew of vaccines. You know,
we all did, so that we live in a society where kids aren't dying because of preventable diseases.
Right. Did you know measles was eradicated in the United States in 2020 or 2000? Year 2000.
Yeah.
And it's back because of right-wing idiots and anti-vax conspiracy theorists who tell you they don't get vaccinations because I don't know what's in it.
Meanwhile, they get Botox. They'll get a tattoo.
Right. They'll drink Red Bull Like they can't even pronounce half the ingredients in it. But
Mano clapa maga. Oh, it says maga. Maga. It's magas in here.
It must be good for you.
COVID and schools. Lindsay?
Yep. So this first executive order, it prohibits federal funding for COVID-19 mandates, vaccine mandates in schools.
Okay, and that will.
This is the first time he's hearing about it. Look at
They
him.
want to clear that up.
He looks
The
two-toned.
discrepancy.
So any schools that
What the hell is wrong with his?
require students to be
Why does this
He
makeup
looks
look
like
rubbed
an
off right
idiot.
there?
with COVID-19 shot, then there's no more.
Look at Lee Zeldin, that robot standing there like he's shitting himself. Look at him to the left.
He has no idea what he's signing. No
He doesn't
clue.
even know what he's doing.
Okay, that solves that problem.
Oh, does it? It solves that problem.
Yeah, great. So
Also,
COVID
here's
vax-
something that
COVID-19's coming back then.
that people need to understand. The vast majority of these presidential executive orders don't change anything because they still have to go through the process of being changed or are going to be challenged and halted. Half of them are being stopped by judges already.
Right.
He is dictating by mandate his personal desires, really,
Right.
what people are telling him to do. And it might not even have an effect, but it's all optics. He wants people to think that he's doing something, that he's accomplishing something. And all he's doing is handing over our government and our money to Elon Musk.
And
Russia.
I would like to remind everybody that the COVID-19 vaccine did come out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when Donald Trump was president, and he pushed for it. And now he is pulling funding from any school that mandates that their kids get the COVID-19 vaccine. So not only did millions of people die, or over 1 million people in the United States die because of Donald Trump's mismanagement of COVID, because he doesn't believe scientists. The guy actually thinks he's smarter than scientists.
Look, I don't know if you understand this, but he had an uncle who taught at MIT. So he himself is a genius because he had a smart uncle. So,
But in fact, if COVID-19 breaks back out, it'll be in a school. Because schools, as a parent, you could.
Oh, yeah.
You're nodding your head right now if you're a parent. If
daycares.
something breaks out at a school, everybody gets it. Like, well, most kids get it. But yeah, they're like a petri dish
like,
in school.
we're going to have a point where RFK Jr. is like, we're no longer going to look for lice because they're healthy parasites and they eat the dandruff in our hair. Like, that's the type of insanity that is going to go on in our schools, and your children are going to die. And then they're going to bring that horrible crap home to you, and your grandparents and your parents are going to die. You might die.
Donald Trump. I was going to say, I keep thinking Elon Musk is the president. Donald Trump has appointed somebody who's not a medical professional to be in charge of the Department of Human Services, Health and Human Services. He's appointed somebody who's not an accountant and has no knowledge of tax law to run the IRS. He's appointed somebody with no history in education, educating kids, to be the head of the Department of Education.
That they're getting rid of. Explain that to me.
Why
Why are you appointing the head of the Department of Education if you are eliminating the Department of Education?
Right. It's basically, if you donated enough money to Trump, you get a job. That's all you got to do. Just buy your
Well,
way
to your
in.
point about the experts, Donald Trump doesn't like experts because experts will generally tell him that's illegal. You can't do that. You're an idiot. And what Donald Trump loves more than anything is being told yes, no matter what. He also doesn't have any respect for how things are done. So he doesn't care if you don't know how to do it. If all you got to do is unplug the website in his mind and that solves the problem he thinks is a problem, you're hired. So Elon Musk has no trouble axing everything, stealing our data, and getting contracts for conflicts of interest. He doesn't care. RFK Jr. is going to make an ass load of money off his brand of unpasteurized milk. Like, this is what's happening. He's giving his friends kickbacks to destroy our country.
This is so dangerous. They're just, like you said, people are, I mean, let's face reality. We like to joke around on the show, but people are going to die because of just electing Donald Trump. I hope you are okay with that if you voted for Donald Trump. Just so you know, people will lose their lives, their homes, their jobs, their bank accounts, their 401ks, their minds, because you wanted to own the libs and voted for Donald Trump. These
you want to know
the find out stages of effing around?
Here's a very simple graphic to show you how much Donald Trump respects the office of president, respects that he was elected president, and the job that he's going to do.
His mugshot is on the.
This is right outside the Oval Office. He's hanging his mugshot.
This is so embarrassing.
Because he got away with trying to steal an election. And now he's in the White House posting pictures of his mugshot, from which he was arrested and surrendered, by the way, for trying to steal an election.
Bro, not only did Donald Trump get away with treason, I mean, because that's, let's face, that's what it is.
Treason.
When you steal classified information and try and overthrow democracy, it's typically called treason. Not only did he get away with it, they gave him his fucking job back. Jesus Christ. It's like he was ranked the worst president in American history. How do you take your worst employee who stole valuable things, got fired, and then like 4 years later, you're like, you know what? I know he just stole millions of dollars of merchandise from me and almost cost me everything, but let's give him another go. What kind of world do we live in, man? It just proves that America is dumb, at least a good portion of it. But yeah, let's talk about the Russia celebrating, because Russia's super happy because not only do they get Pete Hegseth, who is now parroting their talking points while drinking, and that's not water. I don't care what you say.
Look, I swear to you, that was not clear. That was
say allegedly
a
for
brownish liquid.
Or whatever.
Also, no one drinks water with the pinky up and goes,
no.
That's not how you drink water. You go, what? This is water. Watch.
It was right. You know,
it made my throat and my mouth nice
I'll
and
make
wet.
a video
Ugh.
about it because you can tell it's not water by the way he's drinking it. It's really easy. So we got a guy. He's in charge of all of our military, and then we have Tulsi Gabbard, who is legitimately a Russian asset. And again, this is not us defaming her. This is not even us making stuff up just for fun. This is Russia saying that she is their asset. She is in charge of all of our intelligence community.
Should I do it?
Please. This is horrifying.
We are reeling. Trump's pick of Tulsi Gabbard alarms the intelligence community. Gabbard has little to no intelligence experience. In her 8 years in Congress, she never served on the House Intelligence Committee, having instead been assigned to Armed Services, Foreign Affairs, and Homeland Security. Intelligence analysts are most concerned that Gabbard, in the role of Director of National Intelligence, might be motivated to censor intelligence conclusions critical of Russia and shut down funding for potentially fruitful investigations. Some intelligence officials are privately considering whether to resign if Gabbard is their new boss. Well, guess what? She is their new boss. Yeah. From the Associated Press, which is now banned from basically the White House. Tulsi Gabbard, President-elect Donald Trump's choice. This is obviously a little while ago. It's his choice to lead the U.S. intelligence service. In 2022, endorsed one of Russia's main justifications for invading Ukraine, the existence of dozens of U.S.-funded biolabs working on some of the world's nastiest pathogens. Those don't exist, by the way. Right. Moscow claimed Ukraine was using the labs to create deadly bioweapons similar to COVID-19. Gee, like RFK said that could be happening. That could be used against Russia, and that Russian President Vladimir Putin had no choice but to invade neighboring Ukraine to protect his country.
That's the craziest reason.
Gee, this almost seems like the weapon of mass destruction justification for the Iraq war.
It does.
Gabbard's past comments supportive of Russia, as well as secret meetings with Syria's president, a close ally of Russia and Iran, are attracting fresh scrutiny from Democrats and national security analysts who fear that as Trump's director of national intelligence, she could give Russia a major win, undercut Ukraine, weaken U.S. national security, and endanger intelligence ties with allies. Yeah, guess what? That's all happening right now.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. This is
and
insane.
Here's directly from her mouth. This war and suffering could have easily been avoided if Biden administration and NATO had simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns, she posted on Twitter. Democrats say Gabbard's comments signify a pro-Russian bent. So what she's saying is Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if it weren't for those pesky biolabs, which didn't exist. And she never went out and said, oh, those don't exist. Russia shouldn't be here now. We're also talking about a president in Donald Trump who said Russia should be able to keep the land they took under false pretenses because, well, they fought for it.
Yeah, that all right. So I'm also
Donald Trump has said that Ukraine shouldn't have gotten into this war.
Yeah, we have a clip of that. He actually is blaming NATO and Joe Biden again. Joe Biden, I get this with MAGA online all the time. They're still blaming Joe Biden. And now they're like, oh, well, give him time, give Donald Trump time to fix things. But when it was Biden, like, you know what I mean? The double standards is insane. But here's Donald Trump blaming Joe Biden and NATO for Russia invading Ukraine. You cannot make this stuff up, man.
Russia's taken over a pretty big chunk of territory. And they also have said from day one, long before President Putin, they've said they cannot have Ukraine be in NATO. They said that very strongly. I actually think that that was the thing that caused the start of the war. And Biden said it, and Zelensky said it. And I think that was one of the reasons, one of the starts of the war. But from long before Putin, they said you cannot have Ukraine going in any way into
my God.
NATO.
Mumbling idiot.
Okay. So yeah, this is crazy. Donald Trump and these people, they have completely bowed to Putin. Putin has won. He is in charge of the United States government. With the help
Elon
of
is in charge of
Elon
our
Musk.
Domestic policy.
Right, because let's not forget that
Putin's
Elon
in charge
Musk,
of their foreign policy.
over 2 years ago now, was in direct contact with the Kremlin. Why is a U.S. government contractor who has access to our spy satellites and information like that, he's not supposed to, but he does because of this company that he owns, he's been in contact with Russia. Like, you cannot tell me this is not a
This is the guy who also turned off Starlink satellites over Ukraine, probably causing the death of countless Ukrainians.
Right.
But that's all right.
Yeah. And here, last clip of the day, is Donald Trump saying, well, you know, it's like the prices thing. Well, they already have the land and may as well just let Russia keep it. What? That's not how it works, bro.
Do you see any future in which Ukraine returns to its pre-2014 borders?
Well, I think Pete said today that that's unlikely, right? It certainly would seem to be unlikely. They took a lot of land and they fought for that land and they lost a lot of soldiers. But it would just seem to me, and I'm not making an opinion on it, but I've read a lot on it, and a lot of people think that that's unlikely.
He doesn't read, bro. People tell him things. It's funny, in his first administration, they admitted they basically had to do like this. I'm being sarcastic, of course, but they basically had to do pretty much a goddamn puppet show for this guy for morning briefings because he would not read it. They had to do stuff to literally keep his attention, like make sure they said his name over and over again and make it as entertaining as possible.
Hey, gotta shake something shiny in front of him. Hey, buddy, hey.
But no, we are being humiliated on the world stage. I've never been embarrassed to be an American before. I've been so proud to be an American my whole life.
I've always been proud to have been lucky enough to be born here, as I like to put it. I've been embarrassed in the sense that I've always felt that we have a responsibility to address our history, acknowledge our history, and not repeat those things. And what we are seeing now is a direct return to an imperialist, sadistic, egomaniacal United States run by an absolute tit who has handed over control of our money to an illegal immigrant from South Africa, and has given our foreign policy to an ex-Soviet spy. That's where we are right now. So in that regard, I am embarrassed to be an American because of who a large number of Americans elected into office. That's why I'm embarrassed.
I think that's what it is. I'm embarrassed that stupidity beat.
We're known for
common
that.
Sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought common sense would prevail in this matter. Like, Kamala Harris was such a good choice. She was young and she was qualified. She was talking about the middle class. I thought it was a no fucking brainer to get Kamala into the White House. But no, I underestimated the amount of complete jackasses that live in the United States. But you know what? Like Mike said, you're not excluded in Project 2025. And none of these executive orders that he's doing to crush our spirit and take our money does it say, except for people that voted for me. Doesn't say it. So you get to suffer with us. The only difference is We don't ever have to be ashamed of who we voted for.
Also, I'm expecting the suffering. You're going to constantly be like, I didn't know they were going to take my gardener.
Right.
I didn't
Oh
know
my
they were going
God.
to take my sister. I didn't know they were going to take my aunt, my grandma,
Right.
my cousin. Half the people in your family that are too afraid to tell you that they're gay are going to get rounded up and put into prisons because of you.
Right.
Then you'll care.
And that's the part that really terrifies me, the whole Guantanamo Bay thing, man, because there's no media, there's no press, there's no lawyers.
You're going to torture the shit. They're just going to let them die and no one's going to report on it. How would you know if they put 1 million people in Guantanamo Bay and every one of them died because they just shot them in the back of the heads? How would you know?
I mean, it's the same thing Hitler did with concentration camps. They didn't know about the concentration camp. U.S. soldiers didn't know about them until they found them.
I was worried about the camps that they were building.
Found.
I was worried about the camps that they were building in places like Arkansas and Texas. I really was. It didn't even occur to me that we already have a secretive, impossible to reach concentration camp where they have already spent years torturing and killing people. Yeah. So yeah, we now have people that they're putting in a concentration camp and we don't know what's going to happen to them.
Right.
And there's no media access.
Right. And for those of you that are supporting this bullshit, this Nazi shit, just so you know, crossing the border illegal is not even a felony, bro. Like, you're sending people to a concentration camp for committing essentially a misdemeanor that would be a fine, and you'd probably end up getting asylum.
And by the way, you know I mean? You want to make sure that they want to make sure people come here legally. Well, he just fired like 20 immigration lawyers, so now there's less people to deal with immigration concerns, which means they're now going to start saying, well, there's such a backlog, we have to limit the amount of people that come here legally and in every other way.
It already takes years to get legal U.S. citizens, like years and thousands. I wrote about this in my book. Years and thousands of dollars for people to become a U.S. citizen. The process is so jacked up, and it could have been fixed, but now it's going to be horrible. You know what I mean? Our military is not supposed to be going after people within the United States. You know what I mean? If they're committing crimes, arrest them and deport them. Great. Or if you find out they have committed crimes in the past, great. But innocent people that are just trying to come here, because we're supposed to be the country. This is what disappoints me. We're supposed to be the country that you come to, like the Statue of Liberty. We're supposed to be the country you come to.
We should get rid of that.
It doesn't mean anything anymore. They just shit all over it. To have a better life. We're the country you go to experience freedom, to escape oppression. That was the whole purpose of this country. And we've evolved. We evolved over the years. We did. We started to become something better. But that's all over with now because 70 some odd million people decided for 300 some odd million people, this is how we want to live. Thank you very much. But again,
that and a bunch of empty states that have votes in the Electoral College for some reason. But we'll get into that another
day.
Day.
Yeah, there's no population, just a bunch of land. But yeah, it's crazy. But we're fighting back. Mike and I are going to be on the front lines. We are trying to get a very good spot at the protest because there's going to be speakers. Actually, Combat Vets Against Trump called me the other day. He's going to be one of the speakers on the show. Tom is going to be one of the speakers on the show. I mean, on the protest. So he's definitely going to be there. I know Matt's involved. I don't know if Matt helped organize this and if he's going to be a speaker or not.
I still don't know.
So we'll talk to him, though, on Tuesday. So this protest is going to be huge in New York City. Again, Mike and I will be there. We're spending a lot of money to make this happen. Thanks to you, we're able to pull this off.
We want to show you that people are fighting. And a couple of people have said it here, I think, and I've heard this before. Once the weather is warmer, you are going to see there are a lot of protests happening now that the media is not covering. It's going to get even more so.
Right. So if you want to see protests, you got to go to independent media. You're not going to see them on corporate media because they're all bought and paid for. MSNBC might be small pockets of good reporting now, but for the most part, they're all Trump back. They're all Trump.
Independent media, Midas Touch is now
4 million subs, bro.
4 million subs.
I've been watching them since they had 800,000 subscribers.
I know.
I've been watching them just explode, and I keep sending them messages like, "Bro, hook us up! Like we want to be part of this." But so far, we've had 3 other people on the show. We've had Fred Wellman, Coach D Speaks, and Tennessee Brando is a good friend of the show. So
we got to get Fred back. He curses more than us.
He does, man. I don't know if we can we'll definitely have to turn the ads off on that show for sure. But thanks for watching, everybody. That's all we have for today. Tuesday, we're going to have Matt back on, USMC Angry Veteran on TikTok. And we're going to talk about something called technocracy because Mike said before on a previous show. And it's always bothered me, but that Elon Musk is trying to fulfill some kind of family legacy. So between now and Tuesday, just Google the term technocracy, because his grandfather was involved. Elon Musk's grandfather was involved in the founding of this concept.
And guess what? It's all wrapped up with eugenics, whiteness, purity, how to save the human race and bring it to its next logical outcome. We're talking science fiction crap. If you ever heard the term the singularity, this is the same thing. They're all talking about how Elon Musk is going to bring humanity into a new age of technology and biology and to the next stage of evolution. This guy's a mumbling idiot that has his nose-picking kid helping hack our government. Come on.
I can't believe the amount of people on Twitter. And the only reason I'm on Twitter, obviously, is for this show and the troll. But the amount of people on it that just gargle his balls, like, oh my God, everything he posts, like, oh, he's the greatest person ever. Oh, he's such a good, I can't believe it. People have just mush brain. I don't even know how to explain it. But if you go on Elon Musk's feed, you'll just see people just glazing him constantly. Doesn't matter what he does. They're like, oh, that is so smart. And he posted an AI, I'm sorry, I know we got to go, but he posted an AI photo of him sleeping in a sleeping bag on the floor in one of the government agencies, and people believed it. And he even had a Grok logo on it, man. They thought it was real. They reposted the shit out of that, going, look how hard he works. He's saving our government. And it's clearly an AI photo with a Grok logo on it. So this is what we're dealing with, people. But like I said, Mike and I will be boots on the ground. I've been testing out some of the equipment, some of this shit. I don't even know how it works yet. So I got to figure that out between now and next week. We love you all. Thank you all for the support. Again, if you do want to donate and help us out and help us grow, that we can put some real money behind this show and do some advertising, proper advertising, and just make something of this.
And we are getting closer to having some merch.
We are. I'm working on the merch right now. We will be wearing our new sweatshirts at the, that will be on the sweatshirt. We will be having that. We have custom sweatshirts made
Jeanette,
for the
thank
show.
you
Oh,
again.
thank you so much. Thank you again. Man, Jeanette is killing me with all these donations. I appreciate it.
Yep, the world is boycotting the U.S. That is
the whole world.
devastating.
So we have custom sweatshirts. We have the AWA on the front, the activism with attitude. That it looks like an NWA logo. And then we have that warning on the back of it. So just in case anybody's confused, they can just read the back of our sweatshirts and know what's about to come. But I'm so excited. But join us Tuesday night at 9 p.m. We will have Matt back on the show and get some more information and really talk about how this protest is coming together, what to expect, and hopefully we'll be able to get good spots and do some great street interviews, because Mike doesn't like talking to strange people, but I love it. So we're good. Mike can help me with the.
I'm not good at the making the contact, but once the contact is there, I could talk all day. It's a weird social anxiety thing, I guess.
Yeah, I know I deliver Amazon packages now, but I used to make almost six figures selling cars in the car business. So I'm a talker, and I know how to meet and just walk up to people and strike up conversations. I've gotten very good at it over the years. So
we will work to our strengths as we always do.
We do. We love you all. Thank you for tuning in. We will not stop until we are forced to stop, which hopefully will be never. But until then, we are going to keep going. We're going to keep bringing you the facts. We're going to keep giving our opinion as strong as possible, even if we have to turn our ad revenue off. I don't give a shit.
Don't care.
It's never been about the money for me and Mike. We never did this because we wanted to make like a huge production and just, live a lavish
Would we love
life.
to be able to do this full time and nothing else but this? Yes,
we will.
We're not looking to get like 5 Mercedes garages here.
We will do this full time, but this is a movement, okay? And the movement's not about money. It's not about enriching ourselves. It's about bringing people together. We have to bring as many people together, especially non-voters these days. We have to bring as many people together as we possibly can. So tell your friends that are not into politics that this isn't about politics anymore. This is about fighting Nazis.
You need more proof. You need more proof that this is not about politics, because they're still doing things that are destroying, and it's just getting started.
Yeah, and it's only been 3 weeks. Feels like 3 years, but it's been 3 weeks. So join us again Tuesday, 9 p.m. And then next week, the show will be the live protest, live streaming.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Dude, I am beyond excited. This is like more than it's like a vacation for me. It honestly is. So we'll see. And if anything does go down, God forbid, it's going to be a peaceful protest, but if anything does go down, we'll be there to catch all of it and report on it all for you. So please, if you want to see a protest, a massive protest in New York, join us. You get to watch. You get to participate. You get to comment live while we're on air. So yeah, join us. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't stop talking about it.
Yep.
And thinking about it. So all right, guys, I love you all. We appreciate your support, and like always, we'll talk to you soon.